On this video, we're going to take a look at the compliance and onboarding on the candidate record. So on the candidate record, from the profile page, we'll go to the drop down of the pages and go to the compliance and onboarding page in here. On the right hand side, you can see you can either assign an item, which is an individual compliance requirement that you have, or you can select and assign a package, which will contain multiple items in it. So as we can see, if we go to assign item, you could then type in the item name, or if you want to see a list of everything, you can click on to find, and you'll see all of the items that have been created in the system. Now, the items are created by your administrator in the admin part of the system. So they would have been already created for you. If they haven't, you'll need to speak to your administrator or to client services, and we can add these in for you. So we can see here we've got DBS check, we've got CSCS, right to work. So you can tick the ones that you want in there and then confirm. Alternatively, you might have had a package set up. So if we click to assign package, same thing applies. You can either type in the name, go to find, and then you can tick on the package in there and confirm. So see here now we can see that 3 different individual items have been put into that package because they're the 3 things that are required from everybody at the agency. So in here, we've got a right to work, we've got identity, so an ID check in there and a DBS check as well. And we can see the name of the item in there. We can see a description. These are exactly the same, but we could have something different in there, like what you actually need. You can see due date in there. So you can see that's today's date. Date completed, we'll look at shortly. We can see the hire requirement, which would have been dictated to by the admin user. We can see the type, and we can see the status in there. And as we can see for all of those, as we've just added them in, and we haven't ticked off they've been completed, the item status is incomplete. And finally, which is really key for those who want to report on items due to expire, you have the ability to add in an expiry date. Just to show you, you can click on the individual item if you want to. So we can click on it here. And see, it takes you into the onboarding request. So that is what we were talking about on the beginning of the webinar. In here, there's not loads you can do. If you wanted, you could use the document library within this individual item to attach the document to, but I found that quite a lot of users have come in and actually used the standard document library to attach in their documents, but it's completely up to you. You can edit, as you can see in here, but the only thing you can do is you can go in and add any additional notes that link to that onboarding request. So if we go back to our onboarding and compliance page, or compliance and onboarding page, you'll see in here you've got the options on the right hand side. So we already know the assign item and assign package. You've got in there the ability to then update the item. So this is a key thing you want to be doing as you're receiving the documents in. So you can simply tick on the item. It has to be done one at a time, and then you can click on update item here, and then you'll see in here all you've got to do is change that status from incomplete to complete, and that is like you ticking off that you've seen it and you've received it. At the same time, if you do want to put an expiry date or it's needed in there, notice it isn't mandatory because some documents might not require one, but you can go in there and add in an expiry date. We can then see against the ID check here, we've got a date completed. You've also got in there complete status, and you've got an expiry date sitting in there where, like I said before, you can go and report on items that are coming up for the expiry date. Notice as well, linked to that expiry date, it's put up here compliant until, and it's put that date in there because it's the only date at the moment. If you then put a date that is before this date against one of the other items, it will change. It always puts the earliest date in here and checks that first of all. Then you've got the option in here to remove items. So you can do that at any time unless this candidate has been put into an assignment and it's linking to an assignment at the moment. So say this candidate's been put into an assignment, you try and remove it, it will not let you remove it. So it just depends if you put them in a job yet. Now you've also got a really interesting feature in here, which is brilliant. So you've got view document and email document. So when the person that's the admin user has gone in and they've created each of these individual items, on some items, so for example, DBS check, you might need to send out a form or a questionnaire to the candidate to fill in to do with that particular item. So we can see here next to DBS, if we tick that, you can go to view doc, and you'll see there's a document or questionnaire that's been put against that. You can also email the document, so that's going to send that out to the candidate. So you can see here we've got a template that you can have written in here. You can see email address to put in, the email subject, which you can change, of course. You've got the form in here as well. And then you do have the option to put in a follow-up date. So if you need them to send back that form by a particular date, add in that date for you, and then it'll create a task for you. So a very good feature. And like I say, the person that created this particular item, they need to have attached that form next to that item. So it's something they'll know how to do. So that is how you can assign items to create onboarding request items in the candidate record. Don't forget, once you're doing that and updating those as you go, to be attaching your documents in the document library.